Thanks. Now let's get once again to that Republican primary outcome and that unique result that took place here in Nevada.
For that, let's check in with Jayden Urban in the newsroom there for an explainer of what this means for the party ahead of tomorrow's caucus.
Well, Kristen, I spoke with political science professor Fred Locken, and he said that the votes received for the none of the candidates option will be a good idea of what the turnout will be for tomorrow's caucus. But this is not the first time that option has received majority of votes in a Nevada primary. In 1975, Nevada added the none of these candidates option to all state and presidential elections. Nevada is the only state that has this option on their ballots. However, none of the candidates can't win the election, so the winner goes to the real candidate with the most votes.
So when legislators included it in our election system, it was to allow a Nevada voter to express their disdain with the quality or selection of candidates.
The first time the none option received a majority was in the 1976 Republican primary election. None of these candidates received just over 1,600 votes, and next was Walden Earhart, who received just under 10,000 votes.
This was a very conservative Republican state at the time, and they wanted a more conservative candidate, and they weren't happy there wasn't one on.
Another notable incident was in 2014. In the Democratic gubernatorial primary, none of these candidates received 30% of the popular vote, and runner-up Robert Goodman received 25%. He was then named the Democratic nominee against then-governor at the time, Brian Sandoval.
There was a message within the Democratic Party of the dissatisfaction of who they had come up for the challenge.
Back in 2012, the Republican National Committee went to the federal appeals court questioning the constitutionality of the option, but the court rejected their lawsuit.
Any state has a right to set the rules and regulations and structures and practices of its voting system, and that's what the courts ruled in 2012.
Nikki Haley is now another candidate to not receive the majority to the option. Locken says usually these types of protest votes aren't organized, but this one was.
But it was an organized effort by the state Republican Party. They started sending out emails to all of the individuals that were anticipating that they would vote for Trump by participating in the caucus, and they said, use that ballot you got in the mail and do none of these candidates.
The Republican Party says it let candidates know that if they ran in the primary, they wouldn't be able to earn delegates from the caucus. Locken says that primaries and caucuses typically have lower voter turnouts, which is why the none option can make a mark on primary elections. Covering Voters Decide, live from the newsroom, Jayden Urban, 2 News.